So we first talked about angle B for tackles, so that's a 45-degree set. But one thing we'll talk about before we get into specific sets and everything like that, we're going to talk about some basic postures. We have, if I'm on the left side, we're going to have a stagger, okay? Our stagger is the foot back, left side's going to be back.
The left guard on the center.
Yep, so I'm going to have my foot back, okay? I want to have this is our post leg, it's our inside leg. We want to keep that leg heavy, okay? You don't want to drag that leg, you don't want to get caught with your weight outside, all right? That's where we're going to get beat inside. A good defensive lineman is going to bait you, and he's going to try to beat you inside, and you can't recover if you have that inside leg is straight, or if it's not grounded, okay? So as we kick set, we want to make sure that the shin is vertical, we have some bend there, and it's heavy, meaning it's grounded. We don't want to get caught like that. Does that make sense? All right, so look, my other leg is this way. So I have my post leg and my kick leg. My kick leg is staggered, and my toe is going to be pointed out. You want to don't get caught up on your toe like this. You know, we want to stay grounded. So what I'm going to have is about a 45-degree angle of the foot. But I want to have a lot of foot on the ground, okay? And I want to make sure I have that kick leg knee pointed in, okay? So not out, but in. Here. See that? You guys all see that? This is my outside leg. So if I'm on the right side, I got my staggers alternated. This is my kick leg and my post leg. My post leg's vertical. I've got good, it's heavy, it's in the ground. I don't want to say heavy like you can't move it, but it's fully locked into the ground, all right? There's a good bend there. My kick leg, I want to have my knee in so I can set, okay? I want to keep that posture.
Notice one coaching point. His ankle and his knee are ahead of his hip. You see what I'm saying? He's not rocked over this way. All right? You see where his weight is? It's kind of centered or whatever. So his ankle and this knee, like Scott said, is driven in. Because if this knee opens up and the foot turns like that, you're going to turn, right? So this thing is going to keep him square when he moves.
It's going to turn. So if I do this, yeah, I'm more likely to open and turn. The other thing it does is it makes it very hard for me to redirect on an inside move. The guy starts to go inside, my knee's out, I have to shift weight and then move. So we want to be in a position where we can move multi-directionally, okay, and not really compromise posture. Okay, Coach pointed out, I'll talk about the hands a little bit, where we want to carry them. Like we saw some players and not everything you see on NFL film is good. And, some guys are able to do it, and that's fine. So as a basis starting point, we like to do this. Kind of bring our hands together, we keep our hands in front of our body. We keep them like this. I like to have the forearms parallel to the ground, okay? In a posture like this where they're lower than the defender, you're basically going to give them a very minimal target, okay? We talked about the long arm. I don't want a guy coming right down the middle of my chest. If he wants to put a hand high, that's fine. We're trying to strike him. We want to be in a posture that we can both deliver a strike but also prevent, getting run through. So this is a hand position I call guard. If you guys wrestled, you'll see this a lot. Guys, their hands are inside, okay? I'm more powerful that way, and again, I'm protected. We want to make sure our low back's arched, we're not rounded and bent over, okay? And we got a lot of, our weight is on our insteps of our feet. The next thing I want to talk about, and the last thing, we talked about the angles. What's the quickest way to get inside, to get to the quarterback? It's the inside, right? So body presence, you guys may have heard of that. It's called a tilt. We call it a tilt, okay? So the defender, now watch me if you guys can all watch. If I'm in this position here, okay, and maybe coach, you could be a pass rusher. Okay, so I'm a right side player, right guard or whatever. So I'm here, and if I'm in this position here, and he sees my shoulders here, kind of opening up, he might be more inclined to beat me on an inside move. But if I take my shoulders, I tilt them just subtle. I'm not doing much else. I'm not tilting my body. I'm not going like this. But just that subtle tilt gives this guy the illusion that the inside is not available to him.
And that helps you keep the weight on his foot. You see how his shoulders are kind of tilted this way? He's got the weight on his inside foot, so he's not way over here like that. If you lean out, you're going to get beat inside.
And it also protects, you get a guy that has a good club. If I'm not here, boom. You see guys get flipped over, ass over tea kettle. It's not good. So we're trying to make sure we keep our posture, and we're trying to take away as many opportunities and as many things that could hurt us as possible. So that's the posture we want, okay? So that said, I want to talk about the eyes, just real briefly before we get into some strikes. It's I feel like a chicken at the store, man, under the lamp. Right up here, that's hot. So your eyes are important, okay, obviously. You'll watch a lot of guys, they do all the head shake stuff, and you saw a few examples of that. You watch like a J.J. Watt, you're you might fall over just watching them because of all the movement, okay? We can't get focused and caught up in the movement. We have to focus and keep our eyes fixated. We had a guy I went against, he had some dreadlocks. I'm on a one-on-one pass rush, and the guy does all this crazy stuff, and the hair was moving. I blinked, I missed it, and I'm like, I got beat on a one-on-one. I was like, man, you know, because you got to be very disciplined not to stare at the wrong thing, okay? So the wrong thing would be the hair, the head, the hands, all the nonsense, all the shape. We have to be very focused on what we're looking at. And I learned this from a major league umpire who was at my gym, and this guy was watching 100-mile-an-hour fastballs come up. And I go, how do you do that, you know? Like, how do you, with your hands behind your back, you're watching that ball come at you with like a little face mask. He goes, oh, you know, I have to untrain the flinch response. So what he was in my gym boxing of all things, but he wanted to see things coming at him. He wanted to keep his eyes open. So what we did in football, obviously you have a helmet on, but I started doing this and it was really helpful. As I'm walking to practice or whatever, just as a routine, I started to just kind of see through my fingers. Get used to seeing things in my face, but focusing on a target, okay? Just something for you guys. We're not going to do it today. Something to think about. So when you're staring or you're looking at your opponent, and I want you to look at him, okay? I want you to look at him. I'm not saying stare so intently on a thread. Don't get too narrow focus because you won't see the whole picture. But you want to be very disciplined not to get enamored with any of the small movements that are fast. Because
don't watch his head, because he's going to give you a head fake this way, and if you go out, he's going to go right inside. Do not watch the head. If
you see like the guy doing all this stuff, like, well, I moved a bunch of stuff, you know, my hands move. The guys come, they do all that weird stuff, right? The fast stuff. Well, if you get kind of, your eyes will get distracted. What you notice is my chest, the center of my core never moved. It was just it was all just kind of a show, right? Just like our little tilt's a show. We want to make sure we're fixated. Our eyes are really, really focused. So besides posture and just taking perfect, you know, having a good relationship, your vision is the key because once you know that stuff, once guys that know how to do this, usually a lot of times they get beat because their vision, they just got kind of caught or whatever the case may be. So that's something to really consider. Or we showed some of the guys using an outside hand strike, a single arm strike. And I call it a jab. Coach calls it an outside stop sign. Basically, it's an outside punch. Okay, we're gonna use that as our starting point. And so today, when we're on the field, we'll incorporate these in drills. And what I want to do is when I strike a guy, I have my posture right. But JJ's like I'm a guard, and this is a free technique. I'm taking my set, and I want to land the strike long. So I want to keep my hand out here. So as he comes, I'd rather land the strike long than short. Obviously, you've heard that. Well, let's err on the side of long. It should be, I think it needs to be locked out before contact, okay? You saw the guard from the Bengals, and if there's a slight bend in that, that's going to get collapsed and soft. It's going to soften you. So you'll see that where, if I'm going to punch JJ, like you guys heard that, he didn't move, okay? Now he walks in, so it's literally just an extension.
This way because they can't see you that way. That's the best way they can see it.
So if I'm in this position here, I want it long. I don't want it back here. A lot of guys, you guys are going to think, oh, my power is all coming from bench. I bench a lot. Or maybe you don't bench a lot, but it's just that you do that a lot in training. So that's your method that you think is going to generate force. It's not the case. It's the posture. So we call this a jab, but it's really one of the series, we call these things a long arms, a pillar. Okay? The pillar that's bent doesn't really hold anything up. So we want to make sure that our arms are straight. There's an extension to that. Okay? Fully locked out. Not hyperextended or anything like that. Just locked out, okay? And as I strike, I'm going to try to, if possible, I want to try to turn my thumb out just a little bit. Now, yesterday I talked about where the surface strike of the strike would be. I want to try to make it this part of your hand, okay? If I get caught over here, my fingers, you're going to look like everybody else that played in the 80s and 90s and stuff. They got banged up hands. Even guys today, they still don't really use the correct surface of their hand to strike. So as I strike, I want to rotate that thumb out just a little bit. But notice how little of a little motion. I'm not bringing it from back here. I'm holding it out here. So when he walks up, boom. See, I'm right here. I'm just a little bit of an extension. It's quick, but in the event that he knocks the hand down, whatever, he knocks the hand down, I got to retreat, and I'm not going back to this position. And if he knocks my hand down from here, I can recover. But if he knocks it down here, it's soft. You just want to make sure it's soft. That's what the good guys are going to do. So if JJ punches me, they're going to try to knock the hand down like a millimeter away from landing on their chest. Okay. So you want to be a little bit loose. you ever snapped like a towel or all that stuff, you're not really rigid with it. So the goal is not to hit a home run here. You hit the base hits and the home runs happen. You just got to be fluid. So let's not think today about, I want to hammer somebody. It's about mechanics, okay? Mechanics and speed equals force, okay? So again, this is a jab. It's our starting point. So I'm going to take a set, come forward. Okay, I'm not trying hard. It feels hard. I'm not even punching very hard. He knows. But it might seem hard. It's fast. But he's walking into an extended punch, okay? So once that happens, did you notice what happened to his shoulder? He walks forward. It's like a zombie, you know? So you want to stop him. You want to disrupt his footwork just by that method right there. And you know what? If he knocks the hand down, so be it. I'm going to recover, okay? I'm not leaning. So the force comes from a little bit of a rotation, whereas I know in a lot of cases, I'm only saying this because I was in your shoes one time. I'm pretty sure everybody in the audience punches like this. Who does that make sense? You think that's how you're going to stop somebody? It's the rotation. So watch my upper body. This is a slow motion version. So boom. I'm not doing this. If I do this, he's going to knock the hand down. Is everybody clear on that? Okay.
He's arching his back. He's throwing his hips forward.
Okay, so that's the outside. Yeah, we'll get you guys up here. Okay, now we're going to introduce the second punch. Okay, so we're going to today we're going to do, we have a number of different strikes that we teach. You guys, you're going to be fine with 2 strikes, okay? Yeah, they're 2 long punches, all right? So it's like a 1-2 in boxing, but this is a jab cross kind of an idea, but I call it a jab and a pillar. So if I'm here, I'm going to just walk through. So as the guy comes, boom, okay? Now he continues coming in, boom, okay? I drop that and I nail him with the second one. Notice I took this one off. I take him off every time I throw. Once I've disrupted it enough, kind of got his feet stopped, there's a process to stop the force there. We're going to grab him, okay? We're going to hop and we're going to finish the play. So 1-2, so what I'm going to do is we'll go slow. I'm going to show you, this is very important if you want to generate more force. Okay? Before I do it against you, I'm going to do it against air so they can watch me. So if I'm in this posture here, I'm setting, boom, okay? My jab, boom, boom, boom. Okay? I want to drop just a little bit every time I strike. And when I do, I want my hip to come through.
Watch, Scotty, could you face them and show them how, when he strikes, watch his hip. Watch this. Watch the hip to the side of the foot. See how the hip goes forward?
Just a little bit forward. The hip goes forward. And that allows me to transfer force through my hips. We know our hips are strong. But now I'm doing it with speed. It's comfortable. But it's extremely strong. Okay? So I'm basically just rotating. Look at your shoulders turn. Pretty straightforward, okay? Longer. Good. Good. Okay. We're going to do this drill today, guys.
He's not leaning forward.
Nice. So the first couple, like, a little short, you know? So you want to warm up. You want to get your length. You want to know your range. You have to understand the length of your arm. The reason for that is many reasons, but I have to know within my range, and my vision is going to tell me when that guy is ready for me to let my hands go. Okay? Here it's too far away. You walk forward, and boom, now I know he's right there. I'm ready to go. I don't have to bring it from back here. Like I said, is it plenty powerful? Yeah. So you don't need you don't draw it back. You're not grabbing any 6 guns, none of that stuff. Always our hands are here. Okay? So go ahead. Okay, as I drop that foot, my hip comes through, and I'm landing the strike long. Okay.
Okay, what you do, you come over and be on his knees, the right guard, so put your right foot back, okay, bend your knees, get a little bit shade.
Get your hands up in guard, okay? Now look at him, now watch him, right?
Go ahead.
Okay, slow down. Bring your hands back up. Each hand that strikes, the foot drops a little bit.
So you want like this, so So what Scott's saying, when you punch this here, that foot goes back, right? Okay?
And when would you use that hand? Okay, let's say you're a right guard, right? So I'm a 3 technique. And I rush upfield. You punch me here, boom. If I go this way, you're not going to cross that hand over right now, okay? But, go ahead. Come here, and I come into you, boom. Okay? There you go. So you want to kind of attack the side that's, presents. You don't want to cross that arm over. If you cross,
what he didn't do, and he's good, this kid, he didn't engage his hips. He kind of just stayed like that. He didn't feel that. The whole thing we talked about last night on the running game was the hips come forward. You understand? Let's see if you can do that now.
yeah, try it.
Go slow, you know. All right, you ready? Set up. Throw your hands forward. No, don't step forward. Now hit with this hand.
Hey, don't drop your hands so much.
Keep your hands up.
Yeah, that's a little better.
Yeah. See what I've done to him? We don't want any of this at all, leaning forward. I pulled his head back.
So another drill, because we're not going to do this today, but I want to share it with you guys, is have you guys ever done, maybe you've done this, but subscapular push-ups. Have you guys ever heard of this? You basically take a full lock out, have my thumbs facing you, no bend in the arms. I don't want to press at all. I want to basically lower myself, and I want my shoulder blades to touch, and I get an extension, okay? Okay? That's really strong, right? So it's a good way to develop the kind of the framework of where your strike's going to come from. So watch now. We're going to do another thing, and I think you guys can take this with you. It's a good drill to do. Just start with one hand here. I got one hand long, so walk into me. I'm already locked out. So notice no bend of the elbow. Pretty strong? It's really strong. It's enough to stop an NFL defensive lineman. Everybody in this room that's got pads on can do it. I want to try that now so you get to start your range. So you guys will do it with an arm locked out. Get your core. I want your core engaged. Turn the thumb out, but keep it long. Okay, let me feel it. Now don't wind up. Okay, because watch. Do that again. You guys gonna knock your hand out. You wind it up. I don't need you to. Hold it long. And just at the end, I just want a little bit of it. Okay, that's all I did. Ready? Want that part to strike, ready? Okay, okay. Good. Don't bring it back. Good, now you guys can do it. Now that's a good drill for you guys. Just to start long, just so you get to start to feel. And once you guys feel what he's doing, so you can tell the group here if it's strong or not. Don't, yeah, go on. Good. Okay, when it doesn't get strong is when you did that at the end, when you went. Okay, that sounds good. This is what we want. Go. So if you give me like just like a half speed rush, ready? Yeah, it just does it. I'm just doing this. One more. It's enough to get him. He's walking right into a post. I'm going to slow this down for you. So walk forward. Boom. See how I took a step back? I strike. Okay, he comes forward. Boom. The back comes forward. Okay. So I'm getting a little rotation. Is that good enough to stop someone's feet?
Yeah.
Good enough to stop someone's feet. So we're going to make sure we work the mechanics, okay? I'm not trying to hit hard, nothing like that. So that's a drill we'll do today is a 1-2.
Scott, can I say one thing?
Yeah.
You see how he demonstrated? A lot of times when I'm working with him, we go out in the field, nobody knows how to do it. And he spends 5-10 minutes demonstrating and talking about it. That's how the mind just can't translate the hips and just those little things he's doing. The kids get on the field, the coaches get on the field, they forget, he's got to review it again, which is fine. But you see what we're trying to do is show you exactly, and we still don't get it. So we got to get it. Okay, so that's why I make a big impression on you when you're with your coaches tonight, and Scott covers it, and you go to your drills. We don't want anything done half-assed, because when we leave and Scott leaves, you won't remember how to do it. Okay, I'm giving you a little jab, Mom.
He's trying to get you guys to try to remember, right? So, yeah, like seriously, when we ask, say, hey, ask some questions, ask questions, and try it. Try it. You know, you don't get better by watching and saying, "Oh, I got that." You know, you can't be an armchair player.
The guys that are lost are the coaches. Not necessarily the coaches in this room, but a coach will come and watch him demonstrate, get up close. They still won't know how to do it. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying is you got the best in the world here. So pay attention.